We're getting a lot of questions about what the difference is between the original Elator and the new Flex Elator. As for the bars, they're pretty much the same. They're a tiny, tiny hair bit thinner. They're a little bit different material, so it is a little springier, I would say. But the bars is not the big difference. The main difference is the front loop. So to understand the big difference here, you have to understand what's the Elator's made out of the original. So it's a stainless steel bar. It's a stainless steel frame and it has a stainless steel spring on there. So this is very rigid, doesn't bend back, and it doesn't have a lot of expansion. There is a spring on here, but it's pretty rigid. So, you know, if you're starting with an E-girth, it's pretty much going to be an E-girth. It'll expand a tiny, tiny bit, you know, maybe a 13 or 30 seconds of an inch, but very, very minimal. So the Flex, the unique thing about this is there's no frame anymore. It's basically just kind of an enlarged rubber band. So what that allows is it allows for much more expansion, okay? So the other thing that's kind of neat and interesting is this one, because of all the metal in there, it's kind of a solid circle that's going around. So it's still comfortable, but it's not to the sense where it's flat against the penis. This one, it's basically, like I said, it's a flat rubber band, so it lays flat. There is a tiny little rounded top here, so it doesn't have the kind of rigid edges. So that part of it I think is more comfortable. I've tried both of these. I personally like this one better. This is my own personal preference. The only differences I could say is because this does lean back a little bit more, the front tip does come out a little farther. If you're wondering which one's best for you, there's a couple things I would consider. Number one is if you are somebody who starts out very engorged and then you go, say, completely flaccid, then the Flex would be great because the girth size is changing so much and you can start out larger and then it would shrink down. This one will still work, but as you know, like if you start out fully engorged and you put this on, it might be a little snug, and then when it gets down, it'll stay on. But it's going to be either a little more uncomfortable fully engorged or a little more uncomfortable when it's completely flaccid. So if you're somebody that does have a big range, then this would probably be a better solution. If you're somebody who's always the same, like say you're always 40% or you're always 60%, then maybe the original. Now what I can tell you is we've had 100 existing customers, so this is customers that are happy with the original, try this out, and we asked them about 30 different questions, but all in all 90% of them said they liked it better than the original. 10% said it was the same or better. Nobody said it was worse. For the female, there really isn't any different feeling. The only thing that would be a slightly different is this is not as high on the original. So maybe that's a slight difference. But all in all, it just depends on what you're looking for. The other thing to consider is this is, you know, you could say it's the latest and greatest, but it's also the newest. So we've only had about 100 people use this, and thousands, tens of thousands have used this one. We've used this for 15 years with great success. So if you're someone that wants to try it and true it, or if you want to try something new, that's the big difference. And then the only other major difference I would say is if you are somebody that starts out engorged and goes completely flaccid, or somebody that starts out flaccid and then gets fully engorged, I think the Flex would be a better option for you. All right, thanks for watching.